you have to put in place an understanding of what a conversation really is. I noticed that students didn't really have an understanding of the back and forth in a conversation, that when you are not the speaker, that the role of the listener is just as important. So we had to do a lot of work around sort of the language of conversation. We built a success criteria that we had posted in the room that initially students had referred to often, so to have those sentence starters in place so that they could keep that back and forth going. Students also need to understand that their thinking is valued by you and by their classmates. I think sort of more traditionally, it's the thinking of the teacher that's valued, and the students are there to receive as much information as they can through the course of the year, and then when they're full of that year's curriculum, they go off to the next year. And so we need to sort of change that thinking around and build an understanding amongst the students that their thinking and the thinking of their peers is just as valuable, and because of that, they need to be listening as intently when their peers are speaking and sharing their thinking as when the teacher. To the point where you even change the structure of your classroom so that the conversations are no longer the teacher sitting in her chair or his chair, and the students are all in front facing the teacher, sort of receiving the information. So if you set your classroom up in a way where you're, for example, sitting in a circle and where the teacher's part of the circle and we're one unit working together with the conversation, and the ideas flowing back and forth instead of flowing in only one direction. In order for students to engage successfully in a conversation, they need to have certain vocabulary so that they have a tool to actually share their ideas. So we did many lessons around that. We looked at how do you agree with what someone said? How do you say that? So we took that very formal word, I agree, and we talked as a class of how do you say that to somebody? And we brainstormed a number of different prompts that those kids could use to agree. And then there's how do you disagree in a respectful way? When you don't understand what someone is trying to say in a conversation, how do you let them know that their thinking isn't clear? Or if you agree but you want to add some more, how do you do that? So there needs to be a lot of teaching around building that vocabulary so that students can carry on a respectful conversation that values the ideas of each person, but also allows students to add on or keep that thinking going and building on it.